The 10th day after the breakup, and my night still felt like punishment. My body ached with that gnawing hunger, the kind you can't shake no matter how many times you toss and turn. Sleep refused to come. So, in the middle of the night, I did what I knew I shouldn't. I wandered the corners of the internet, hoping for a distraction, something to numb me. My fingers drifted from link to link until one image froze me in place. A woman, masked, wrapped in black leather, so tight it looked painted on, her chest straining against it, threatening to break free. The only skin visible was her hands, pale, delicate, almost jade-like, and yet in those same hands she gripped a weapon so large it looked absurd against her frame. The contrast was intoxicating. Her slender fingers curved around the trigger, and suddenly my imagination betrayed me. I pictured those same fingers not on a weapon, but on something else. Heat rushed to my face. I actually covered my nose, embarrassed at how far my mind had run. She wasn't just attractive. She was a goddess, a dangerous, masked queen. I clicked into her profile immediately, desperate for more. But most of it was locked, hidden behind a paywall. Premium subscription only. I scrolled through the comments instead, my pulse racing. 5-star reviews stacked beneath her photos. Anonymous men whispering the same message. Worth it. Professional. No mess. No worries afterward. At first, I thought, OnlyFans. That had to be it. But something about the phrasing. The reviews didn't sound like a service of pleasure. They sounded like a service of permanence. I hesitated, counting the cost in my head, groaning at the price. She wasn't cheap. But then again, what did I have to lose? My ex had cheated, drained me, left me hollow. Spending money on her had never brought me peace. Spending it on myself? For once, maybe that was a better deal. So I did it, subscribed at the highest tier. Almost instantly, a private message blinked onto my screen. What service do you want? The words were cold, distant. I could almost see her, mask in place, looking down at me as if I were beneath her notice. My heart thudded in my chest as I typed the only thing I could think of, how much for one time? Her reply came quick. Big job or small job? I froze. My hands hovered above the keyboard. Big? Small? What did that even mean? Stammering, I confessed, it's my first time. I don't have much experience. What's the difference? Her answer was precise. Small job, talk only. No hands. Just make the point. Big job, the real deal. Full service. Done in one go. I swallowed. My throat went dry. No hesitation. Big job. Of course, the big job. The typing dots appeared. Then another question landed like a blow. How many people? I blinked. Reread it twice. My stomach flipped. Did she mean? Group sessions? She actually handled that too? For a second I stared at the screen. Speechless. My hands trembled as I typed back. Just one. Just me. Then nervously I added, any chance of a discount? Silence. Seconds stretched into eternity. Then finally, her response. No bargaining. Sharp. Final. I felt small, embarrassed, like a kid haggling over something far out of his league. She must have sensed it, because another message followed. Any special requests? My chest tightened. Blood rushed to my face. 1,000 forbidden thoughts flooded my mind. Every memory of every comic, every video, every fantasy I'd never admitted to anyone. Fingers shaking, I typed, anything is possible. Another long silence. Longer than before. I thought maybe I'd said too much. Crossed some line. Finally, her reply. 2 words. Extra charge. And just like that, the fire inside me fizzled. Reality smothered the fantasy. I typed quickly. Forget it then? Her tone didn't shift, didn't falter. She moved on like nothing happened. Send me the target's details. Name. Birthday. Photo. I obeyed, my nerves buzzing. After all, what was the harm? It still felt like a game. I sent my info, then dared to ask hers. What about your name? Her answer cut cold. No need. Once payment is complete, we never speak again. Still I pressed. There has to be a way to call you. A stage name, at least. There was a pause this time. Longer, as if she weighed the decision. Then slowly, her words appeared. Codename Young Phoenix. I sat back, staring at the screen. Young Phoenix. It sounded less like a name and more like a warning. The day finally came. The one we had agreed on. I rushed to the cafe, heart pounding with excitement and nerves colliding all at once. Every minute crawled. I checked the clock, then the door, then the clock again. My coffee sat untouched, growing cold as I waited. But no matter how many times the bell above the door jingled, she never walked in. The hands of the clock dragged past the meeting time. Still no sign. My chest sank like a ship taking on water. The hope I had built up, the wild fantasies, the nervous anticipation. One by one, they bled out of me. Could it be she never intended to come? Disappointment hit harder than I expected. My heart felt like a beach at low tide, stripped bare, exposed, empty. I pushed my chair back, ready to leave. But just before I stepped away, something in me snapped. I made one last desperate attempt. I craned my neck toward the entrance. The cafe was quiet. The street outside almost deserted. And her chair, the one across from me, sat empty, mocking me. I wasn't ready to give up. My eyes kept wandering, scanning the street again and again. And then I saw her. A tall figure stood beneath the shade of the trees across the road. My heart jolted. The curve, impossible to miss, strained against the buttons of her shirt, holding back as if one wrong move would send them bursting free. But that top button, fastened tight, always in control. Dark sunglasses, a mask covering her face, every inch of skin hidden from the world. To anyone else, she'd be unrecognizable. But me, I wasn't anyone. I was the kind of fan who could chase 4 links across 3 shady forums, create burner emails, and climb to the digital mud just to catch one glimpse of the content I craved. And those hands, those delicate jade-like hands, I'd know them anywhere. Damn it, I knew it was her. I rushed over, my heart hammering like a drum. Up close, she was even more unreal. Full bust, narrow waist, legs for days. A stuffed bag slung over her shoulder weighed heavy, mysterious. What was inside, I didn't know, but my eyes barely left her body. That chest, those legs, that perfect symmetry. The frustration of waiting all night melted away. Maybe she'd just gotten the location wrong. That had to be it. I reached out, gave her shoulder a quick pat. Tried to sound casual. Why are you standing here? Why didn't you come over? She froze. Her body stiffened beneath my touch. For a fleeting second, she looked startled, almost blank. Then her guard shot up. She stepped back, her gaze cold and sharp behind the sunglasses. You got the wrong person. Her voice, low, controlled, was enough to send a chill straight through me. But even icy, it was beautiful, like the low hum of a gouging string. Elegant, haunting, impossible to forget. I scrambled, trying to fix it. No mistake. I've been waiting for you. Since you didn't come find me, I had to come find you. She didn't answer. A long silence stretched before her words finally slipped out, clipped and cold. I don't understand what you're talking about. Panic rushed through me. I gritted my teeth, forcing every word. Don't play games. You took the money, didn't you? Too late to back out now. Her chest rose and fell. One long, slow exhale. Then, almost as if giving in, she removed her sunglasses, pulled down the mask. And there it was, her face, cold, stunning, dangerous. One hand slipped into her bag as she stepped closer, her eyes narrowing, studying me like I was a puzzle she wasn't sure she wanted to solve. Since you already know, she asked softly, what do you plan to do about it? Up close, her beauty was overwhelming. My anger dissolved into dust. My voice caught, awkward. I booked a hotel. Maybe we can go inside. Talk. I gestured around nervously. Too many eyes on the street. Not really suitable for business. She didn't move. Not a flicker. Afraid she'd take it the wrong way. I hurried to explain. Not like that. I just wanted to meet. To talk. Anything else. Only if you want to. And then, without warning, she closed the distance. Her hand snapped up, grabbing my collar, forcing me down toward her. Every hair on my body stood on end. My breath locked in my throat. It felt like the sharp edge of a blade had pressed against me. And then, impossibly, she smiled. Just the faintest curve at the corner of her lips. The ice cracked, and beneath it, something dangerous glimmered. Her voice, smooth and steady, brushed my ear. I'm not worried. On the contrary, you should be worried about what I might do to you. With that, she turned on her heel, striding toward the hotel. I stood frozen, heat rushing to my face. My hands clenched at my sides as I fought back a grin. Did she just flirt back? A whoa. My cheeks burned. This was the level of professional? Terrifying. The hotel room was quiet, the air thick. On the massive bed, young Phoenix and I sat side by side, silence stretching between us. I cleared my throat, desperate to cut the tension. So, why this line of work? Her answer was blunt. I can't do anything else. My mind immediately painted a story. Poverty, heartbreak, forced into the night. A classic tragic past. I tried to sound comforting, kind. There's nothing wrong with it. This kind of work has a long history. No shame in it. She didn't seem to want sympathy. Her frown deepened. Let's talk business. What do you want to do? Straight to the point. My face flushed. My palms rubbed against each other nervously. Oh, okay. What can we do? Can we, bang, bang, bang? Her brows pulled tight. A sharp breath escaped her nose. I bang you. I blinked. Wait, don't you mean I bang you? Her glare cut like ice. No way. Speechless, I scrambled. Then maybe we can start small, just fire a shot to warm up? No way. I swallowed. Okay, then maybe just touching? A little. She snapped. Still no. I sighed, defeated. At least let me touch your chest then. Of course not. Her sudden outburst startled me. She moved a step back, the tips of her ears burning red. Why so defensive? I'd said wilder things a moment ago. Maybe this was a line. Maybe her chest was the one untouchable thing. I asked carefully, so, you sell your skills, not your body? She paused, thought, then nodded. Correct. A virtuous woman, pure in her own way, which meant tonight wasn't going where I thought. Just chatting under the covers. I yawned, stretching. Fine then. I'll take a shower. Do as you please. She didn't move, didn't even blink. But when I came back out, towel draped around my shoulders, my heart stopped. Young Phoenix was perched at the head of the bed, scrolling through my phone. My stomach flipped, fury igniting. Hey, don't you have any professional ethics? I lunged forward, ready to snatch it back. But she moved, fast, too fast. And in that instant, I realized this wasn't just a woman in leather. This was something else entirely. No matter how I lunged, she slipped away with ease, dodging left, twisting right, like water running through my fingers. I was gasping for breath, my chest heaving, when desperation pushed me to dive forward. In the chaos, my face almost crashed into the softness of her chest. Young Phoenix's lips pressed tight, her eyes sharp. In a blink, she twisted her waist, flipped me, and pinned my wrist against the bed with frightening precision. Her movements were smooth, practiced, too sharp for coincidence. Her voice wavered, trembling but still firm, as she asked, almost accusing, "You're my client?" For a beat, I froze. Then it hit me. She must have seen our chat history on my phone. Maybe she thought someone else booked her. Or maybe, seeing my worn-out clothes, she simply assumed I couldn't afford her at all. Grinding my teeth, I forced out, "Yeah, I am. What's the problem?" Her brows furrowed, her gaze lingering on me, filled with disappointment, almost pity. She looked at me the way a teacher might at a student throwing their future away. Her voice was soft, almost pleading. "So young, why are you wasting your life like this?" The words stung more than I expected. Who was she to judge me? To stand there, lecturing like she knew me? Heat rose in my chest. "So what if I'm young? Why does it matter to you?" Her answer was cold, final, I won't take this job. With that, she stood and turned to leave. I sat there, stunned. Just like that, dismissed. That's when it sank in. This wasn't just business. Even in this world, even among glamour models, there were lines, prejudices, choices. My anger boiled. I leapt up, pulled on my clothes, and stormed after her. My voice echoed down the hallway, venom-laced. If you won't do it, plenty of others will. I'll buy 10 better than you. Her footsteps stopped. Slowly, she turned. Her expression was complicated, torn between hurt and something deeper. So if I refuse, you just go by someone else? Her words carried a weight that made my chest tighten. She bit her lip, her voice breaking, almost desperate. Can't you think of something better? Do you really have a sink this low? But before I could reply, a voice from behind cut through the tension. Sweet, mocking, and horribly familiar. George, what are you doing here? I turned, my gut sinking. Maria, my ex. She stood in the doorway like a bad memory dress in silk. Black slip dress clinging to her frame. Hickeys trailing her neck, a smug smile playing on her lips. Old wounds tore open in an instant. Memories of catching her in bed with strangers. Her cigarette smoke blowing in my face as she told me, unapologetically, yes, I cheated, but if you had treated me right, would it have come to this? That day, I had slapped her, hard, and walked away, leaving her stunned, cigarette burning a scar into the carpet. I thought that chapter was closed. But now, here she was again, smirking, tilting her head, mocking me. What? Checking up on me already. Playing hard to get? Fine. I'll forgive you this time. Forgive me? My blood boiled. Nausea crawled up my throat. And then, out of nowhere, an idea sparked. Why should I be the only one suffering? I pulled young Phoenix closer, wrapping an arm around her shoulders. My voice was calm, almost casual. Careful with your words, Maria. My girlfriend might not like hearing that. The look on her face was priceless. She had always believed I'd never move on, never find someone new. To her, this was the cruelest betrayal. Her smile faltered. But quickly, she recovered, her eyes narrowing as venom dripped from her tongue. Really? This is what you've come to? Recycling trash I couldn't even bother with. Her words cut deep, but before I could respond, young Phoenix stepped forward. Her grip tightened on my arm, her voice sharp and cold. Are you insulting yourself? Maria blinked, taken aback. Phoenix didn't stop. Her words fell like blades. On holidays, what did you ever give him? What emotional value did you provide? Nothing. You say you suffered with him. But doesn't that just mean you had nothing on your own? With or without him, you'd still be suffering. So, what right do you have to blame him? Her tone grew sharper, her eyes blazing. Society trains men to give, to spend money, create romance, carry all the weight. And when a woman feels unhappy, it's automatically the man's fault. But tell me, what did you ever give him? What value did you bring? The hallway went silent. Maria, for once, had no words. And for the first time in a long while, I felt like I wasn't standing alone. Maria never expected it. That another woman, Willow, the one I'd only known as young Phoenix, would step across the unspoken line and flip the script. For once, the same rules used to measure men were turned back on her. Maria froze, mouth opening and closing, speechless. Finally, anger cracked through her mask. Her eyes burned, her lip trembled. You. Willow cut her off with a lazy smirk. Want to fight? She stepped forward, tall and commanding, her presence alone making Maria look small, fragile, almost out of place. Maria glared, dark and venomous. But after a long pause, her gaze slid past Willow and landed on me. The hatred in her eyes was sharp enough to peel skin. Her voice dropped to ice. Fine. I'll remember this. And then she was gone. Silence followed. I scratched my head, awkward, and muttered a thanks. I'll pay you extra, I said, trying to sound casual. For all our differences. She seemed like a good person. But Willow didn't answer right away. Her eyes searched mine, hesitating, before she asked softly, Did you hire me because of a breakup? She had seen right through me. I shifted uncomfortably, nodded. Yeah, sort of. She sighed deeply, her gaze softening, almost tender. She's not worth it. Treasure yourself. Live well. You only have one life. I'll refund your money. Don't ever do this again, all right? I was stunned. Buyers persuading sellers to quit. I'd heard of that. But the other way around? Never. Yet there she was, upright, dignified, almost too virtuous for this world. Still, she had just saved me, and her words lingered like medicine that stung but healed. I tried to read her expression, but my eyes betrayed me. Slipping downward, God, she made it impossible not to notice. That abundance blocked my view of everything else. I coughed, forcing a smile. I'll think about it. But can I still reach out to you again? Just a chat, nothing else. Her lips curved faintly, and she nodded. If you need me, reach out any time. Then, extending her hand, she added, let's start over. My name is Willow. From that day, Willow and I became something else. Not client and model, just friends online. Every morning, afternoon, and night, she'd send me little messages. A sunrise, autumn leaves scattered on the pavement, a stray kitten curled by the curb. Her world was colorful, gentle. But whenever I went quiet too long, she transformed, like a Yandra girlfriend, flooding my inbox. Check in. Why haven't you replied in an hour? Where are you? What are you doing? Answer me. God, she drove me crazy. And yet it worked. She left me no room, no excuse, no chance to look for another model. One late night, I finally broke. I told her the truth. I think people should be free to make their own choices. Why do you always stop me? Her reply came in long bursts of text, but all I saw were censorship marks, strings of XX. I squinted through the filters, piecing it together. She was telling me her story, that her mom had left when she was young, that her father was like me, addicted to XX. When her mom left, he couldn't suppress it, and in the end, abandoned her too. She said an excessive hunger for XX wasn't just desire, it was sickness, and she didn't want to go down that same path. My chest tightened. She thought I was a sex addict, and maybe in her world, that was the only explanation that fit. To make sure I'd understood, I replied in her same censored code. Actually, I don't always want XX. Sometimes I just can't help trying XXXX. Don't worry, I won't go XX behind your back. If I need it, I'll tell you first. Her answer came fast. I understand. But from now on, let's follow platform rules. Fair enough. We couldn't risk getting banned. So I suggested a code. We'd call it that. She agreed. And somehow, through all the garbled censors, it felt like we just shared something raw, intimate. That night, I fell asleep lighter than I had in weeks. Willow and I were finally in sync. And then something changed. After that heart-to-heart, our bond deepened. During her daily check-ins, she no longer held back. One day, she typed bluntly, "How are you feeling today? Do you want that?" I froze. Too blunt. Too real. My fingers hesitated before I typed back nervously, "I'm okay." But Willow didn't soften. "If you want it, you must tell me. I'll come find you immediately." My breath caught. I typed slowly. "And if you came, would we just chat?" Her typing bubble flickered forever. Finally, her message appeared. "Is there anything you want to do besides that?" I swallowed hard. "Maybe let me touch your chest. Or your thighs, at least." Her reply was careful. "If I let you touch, would it make you give up the idea of that?" I stared at the screen. Not sure. Maybe it'd ease things. Silence. Minutes dragged on. Disappointed, I shut off my phone. But 10 minutes later, the screen lit again. Willow had sent a photo. A picture that made my breath hitch. Her message followed. "Touching isn't appropriate. But can you look instead? Does it cheer you up a little?" Cheer me up? God, it did more than that. My thumbs trembled as I typed. "I'm starving." 12 minutes later, the knock came. When I opened the door, there she was, Willow. Her breath was uneven. Her cheeks flushed from the night air. A black, Off-shoulder dress clung to her frame, an overcoat slipping down her arm. She looked like she had run straight through the city just to get here. The traffic lights were jammed, she said between breaths, chest rising and falling, the curve of her body catching the light in a way that made my pulse stumble. So I ran. The moment she stepped inside, her eyes darted over me, fast, desperate, searching for something. She wasn't looking at my clothes or my expression. She was looking for signs, proof, evidence that I hadn't done something reckless in the time she wasn't here. "You're okay, right? You didn't do anything?" she pressed, her voice trembling on the edges. I tried to calm her, repeating over and over that I was fine. But still, she wouldn't let go. She leaned in, her gaze tracing my skin as if she could read my pulse by sight alone. For a long, heavy moment she studied me, her eyes softening only when she finally convinced herself it was true. Relief broke across her face like dawn. She let out a shaky breath, and without another word, pulled me into her arms. I felt it immediately. The warmth, the softness, the way her heartbeat thudded against mine. My entire body folded under the weight of it. Happiness, raw, dizzying happiness, stole the air from my lungs. Her whisper came low, carried on the tremor of her chest against me. "Do you know how worried I was?" Something inside me melted. My hand found her face, tilting it gently, and I almost kissed her right then, but I hesitated, because asking mattered. "Can I?" I breathed. Her answer wasn't words. It was a sudden curve of a smile, the way she leaned in on her toes and pressed her lips against mine first. A spark, a surrender. After that, I lifted her effortlessly, the two of us tumbling onto the sofa in a tangle of heat and laughter. The kiss that followed wasn't wild. It was patient, almost fragile, like neither of us wanted to break the moment. She nestled against me, her body soft, her voice softer still. And then she said it. "There are things I haven't told you." Her tone shifted, weighed down with something darker. "The truth is, the reason my father became the way he is, it wasn't just him. It was because my mother betrayed him." The words cracked in the air. She went on, her voice dipping low. "A mother who cheated, a father who broke, and me, a child left standing in the ruins. It wasn't just a confession. It was a window into the fractures that had shaped her. The loneliness of a father who couldn't recover. The silence of a home where trust had died. And the helplessness of a little girl caught in the storm of it all. And as she spoke, I realized she wasn't just telling me about her family. She was offering me a piece of herself, the kind of piece that hurt to give away. I half listened as Willow spoke. My replies scattered little hums, a distracted the occasional uh-huh. But when her words began shifting from her parents' story toward herself, I couldn't take it anymore. Desire overrode patience. I rolled her beneath me, silencing her with a kiss. "What's all this rambling for?" I murmured against her lips. "Don't you think your energy could be spent somewhere better?" Willow sighed, exasperated but not resisting. Her arms looped around my neck, her body surrendering to the moment. But just when I thought passion had won, she stilled me with one quiet question. "You don't want to die anymore, do you?" I froze. The words didn't make sense, like she was speaking a language I'd never heard. "Die? Since when did I ever want that?" I asked. Confusion passed between us, like a mirror reflecting back the same shock. Her gaze trembled. "Then why did you hire a hitman?" The pieces slammed together too late. My heart sank. A glamour model. I shot back in disbelief. I hired a glamour model. But the cursed filter, the platform that censored half our words, had twisted everything. Willow pressed her lips together, pushing my hands away from where they lingered. She sat up straight, draping her coat over herself with deliberate grace, her eyes sharp, her expression turning cold. In an instant, the alluring woman from moments ago became the righteous stranger I had first met. Her voice cut like glass. "Tell me the truth. All this time, have you only seen me as a glamour model to play with?" The air between us snapped tight. "And oh, it's not like that," I stammered, fumbling. But she wasn't finished. Her eyes narrowed, searching mine as if peeling back layers. Then, In a sudden, defiant gesture, she lifted the hem of her skirt, just enough for my gaze to betray me, dropping helplessly onto the pale, smooth lines of her legs. She caught the hunger in my eyes instantly. Ah! Her laugh was sharp, knowing, with a snap of fabric. The skirt fell back into place. A cruel tease, a cold denial. She had shown me just enough to prove her point, and no more. But the memory of her softness still lingered on my hand, and I couldn't resist leaning closer, reaching again. Can't we settle this in the simplest way? They say couples fight and then they... Willow actually laughed, but it wasn't warm. Fine then, she said, voice laced with challenge. Am I your fiancé or your wife? Choose. Her words jolted me like a slap. Marriage? Over one touch? My hand snapped back like I'd been burned. She sighed, long and heavy, pressing her palm to her forehead. For a moment, she just sat there quiet, gathering herself. When she finally spoke again, her tone was gentler, firm, but carrying an ache. I understand. Because she cheated, your heart feels dead. So you hired me. I'll let that go. But what about your future? Are you planning to never be with anyone again? Her eyes locked on mine, clear, steady, painfully sincere. Even if you don't love me, that's okay. Just don't punish yourself for someone else's betrayal. Don't mistake strength for sealing your heart away. You're a good man, George. You deserve more than this emptiness. You deserve to love and to be loved. Her words struck deep, unraveling the walls I thought I had bricked shut. I couldn't meet her gaze. My eyes slid away, my throat dry. Silence became my only shield. Her phone buzzed in the background, the sound filling the space between us. She waited, and when no answer came, her face dimmed with quiet hurt. She rose slowly, her voice softer than ever. All right, if you're okay, that's enough. I'll leave you to think. Maybe we both need some time apart. Before she left, she leaned in close. Her whisper brushed my ear like silk. George, if you never give, of course you'll never lose. But you'll never see beauty either. One day, with the right person, you'll learn that giving isn't weakness, it's shared. And then the door clicked shut. Her scent still lingered in the room. Her warmth still clung to the sofa where she had sat. But all I felt was a hollow ache of something slipping away before it even began. Days blurred after that. Work. Home. Repeat. Sometimes I sent her little things. Funny memes, office gossip, fleeting moments from my day. But her replies grew shorter, colder. The daily photos stopped. The cheerful check-ins vanished. She was busy, or maybe just gone. And just when Willow faded into silence, the shadows returned. It started at work. A receptionist called me over, giggling. A pretty lady sent you breakfast. Inside the box, a delicate card. I know you still love me. I forced a smile, told her to throw it away. At home, a package waited at my door. Lingerie I hadn't ordered. Perfume clung to the fabric. I dropped it straight in the trash. Then came the messages. An untraceable number. Nude photos. Faceless, anonymous. I deleted them all. Blocked. But new ones kept coming. Like she anticipated my every move. I miss you. Don't you miss me? Why aren't you answering? I've got your photos with that glamour model. Want me to share them with your colleagues? The mask had dropped. What began as temptation had curdled into threats. One night, while taking out the trash, I felt it, arms wrapping around me from behind. A voice, soft and chilling, whispered into the darkness. Gio, did you miss me? Maria, her head pressed against my back, as if we were still lovers, as if nothing had ever broken. She looked at me with that sly smile, the kind only Maria could pull off. I knew you couldn't let me go, she whispered. That new girlfriend? Just a lie to make me jealous. You drank yourself half to death, hired some glamour model to pretend, and even swore you'd stay alone forever because of me. Gio, you love me too much. I wasn't even shocked. Instead, I turned and asked the question I'd been holding back. That person shadowing me and David at the restaurant, that was you, wasn't it? Maria's eyes flickered with hope. Let's get back together. Flatly, I asked, and if I refuse? She didn't hesitate. Then you'll pay me back for the years I wasted. Or you can just clear the 100,000 yuan of online loans I owe. It was classic Maria. She'd always lived on reckless spending. Back then, I was a fool covering her debts. And now, after the breakup, with no new sucker in her corner, she'd come crawling back. I laughed. So, basically, you want to stay your ATM. Just your idiot with a wallet. She smirked, unbothered. If you don't agree, I'll ruin you. Sexual harassment, George. You got my photos, my lingerie. All it takes is one call in the middle of the night, and your life is over. I sneered. Framing me? Aren't you afraid the truth will come out? She leaned in, clutching my arm with fake intimacy. Who would care? I'm a woman. At worst, I'll apologize. But you'll be branded forever. Think carefully. And if I fight you? I asked. Her smile faded. My patience is limited. Stop testing me. Then, suddenly, she ripped her skirt, staggered back into the railing, and slammed herself against it. Her voice cracked like venom. I wouldn't mind accusing you of forcing me. I knew then she was dangerous, and a wise man doesn't let danger linger. Fine, I said coldly. I'll take you to the bank. She brightened instantly, latching onto my arm as though she'd already won. But she had no idea what waited, because the moment I opened the car door for her like a gentleman, she stepped into a trap. The locks clicked. Her eyes narrowed. And from the back seat, my buddy David leaned forward, flanked by two towering men. That's her, David growled. Within minutes, Maria was pinned against the hood, her arms twisted back, her arrogance shattered by the sharp crack of David's palm across her face. Twice. You think you can frame my brother? He spat. Believe me, you won't live to regret it. And that's when I pulled the button-sized camera from my shirt pocket, holding it just inches from her shocked eyes. Thanks for the testimony, I said. This is more than enough to put you away. Minutes later, sirens wailed. Police cars filled the lot. Willow stepped out in uniform, her presence calm but commanding. Cuff her. Take her away. But before they dragged Maria off, I stopped them, her eyes lit with a desperate flicker of hope. Maybe I'd changed my mind. I walked forward, calm, deliberate. One last thing, Maria, I said softly. Not only can I love again, I can love better. And with that, I turned, cupped Willow's chin, and kissed her. Hard. The world seemed to freeze, until Maria's face went pale, Willow's cheeks flushed, and the officers nearby burst out cheering. Willow, didn't know you had it in you, one shouted. Enjoy your time with your man. We'll handle this mess. Maria was dragged away, her threats gone with her screams. And there I was, standing beside Willow, my so-called glamour model, who now blushed and whispered the truth. She wasn't a model at all, but a detective undercover. And in that moment, as David clapped my shoulder and reminded me to never be a simp again, I realized Maria hadn't ruined me. She'd set me free. Willow didn't miss a beat. She tied her hair back, leaned down, and with a teasing smile whispered, It's fine. Lasting even a minute is impressive. I froze, speechless, but inside my pride burned. Without another word, I rolled us over, pressing her down with sudden determination. Tonight, I had to prove myself. 3 days later, my legs were jelly, trembling with every step. I'd underestimated her. Badly. Even now, whenever I glance at the sofa, the windowsill, the table, mirror, or even the carpet, my body shudders with flashbacks. PTSD, courtesy of Willow. And then, like a switch clicking in my head, I remembered something. Right. I still haven't gone to the station to file my statement about Maria. I should head there. But Willow didn't even flinch. Instead, she shot me a sharp, serious look that made my heart skip. If we're talking about the station, she said, voice dripping with authority, there's something else we need to address. I blinked. What do you mean? Her lips curled into a sneer. You ordered a glamour model. According to Article 66 of the Public Security Administration Law, that's a detention of no less than 10 and no more than 15 days. And if you dare repeat it, she tapped the headboard with her fingertip, her eyes glinting. "I'll cuff you right here." I stared at her, stunned. 10 days? Who even talks like that? Desperate, I raised my hand to heavens. "I swear, never again. I'll be the law-abiding citizen of the year. No one follows the rules more than me." That finally cracked her composure. Willow laughed softly, leaned in, and kissed the corner of my mouth. "MHM? Good," she murmured, "because ordering me is more than enough.